Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party-ish review. In today's video I'm taking a look at the LEWIN Productions MP10 Optimus Prime. Gotta give a big shout out to TF Direct for making this early preview possible. As you can see, we have a pretty hefty box weighing in, I believe it was just over 9 kilos. That's a lot. As you can see, Prime comes packaged in a really massive foam prison. Now you will have to excuse the mess around me. I'm filming inside the bedroom today. We don't have a great deal of room. I wish I could have a designated study, but unfortunately that's not the case. First port of action, the top layer of foam has several small pieces which house the guns, the matrix, and the die-cast smokestacks. There they are. I mean, even the smokestacks alone weigh more than most Transformer figures. These are absolutely massive. I like the fact that they've taken all of these off, so nothing can get broken in transit. Now, disclaimer, this is a pre-production sample. The paint is by no means final. This has been doing the rounds and it's been to various different Chinese reviewers already, and it's now made its way over to me. So there is already some paint damage on the likes of the feet, etc. But like I said, this is not a final piece. This is pre-production. These are ridiculously heavy. We get a large matrix of leadership, and everything in here has batteries as well. I'll cover the battery installation shortly, but first of all, let's get everything out. More foam, and we have his blaster. Again, really nice size to that, and some nice clean paint applications on there as well. Very much looking forward to getting him transformed up. Right there, let's remove the top layer of foam. Yeah, it's big. I mean, it is really big. I'll do a full scale comparison shortly, but it's a monster. I knew it was going to be big, but I had no idea it was actually going to be as big as it is. The smokestacks just tab in on either side of the back here. We can just push those on and into place. Right, now here we have him out of his plastic prison. Now, it is not perfect. Mine has a couple of defects, but that's not due to the company, that's due to the person having it before me and mishandling it. As you can probably see, there's a peg just over here. That's where it tabs in when we have it in leg mode. The peg on this side is broken. It's actually broken off inside these big, huge die-cast tanks. And my figure does have a slight arch to him. It's actually because my table's bending as well, so that doesn't really help the cause. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous piece. I can't even begin to express the sheer awe. I mean, at the size of this thing, it is maddening. For example, I am just going to borrow Spider Britain, who is a 6-inch Marvel Legends figure. Basically a 1/12 scale. That's not far off, is it? That's not far off being a 1/12 scale truck, which is insane. I initially ordered a couple of 3 3/4 inch figures to see if they're going to scale, because I was hoping to use them. You kind of use this in a diorama with my figures, just for some photo shoots before I pass it on. But it's massive. It's absolutely massive. And I mean, if we was to bend Spidey's legs up and have him in the driving position, you know, that's not far off. It's not quite there. I think this is probably somewhere along the lines of 1/14 or something like that, but it's the nearest thing by far that we've got to a transforming robot scaling with Marvel Legend. Now, First of all, you will have to excuse if there's any exterior noise coming through. I've got the fan and air conditioning unit on because it is absolutely sweltering in here, and I've got lights on me, so there's a lot of heat coming from there. All right, let's take a look around the truck. Front of the truck is absolutely gorgeous. They've done an incredibly nice job. It really does look the part. It screams out G1. Now, looking at the additional chrome detailing, etc. on the side here, I would think that this is actually based on the Weijang version, so it's kind of an oversized version of the Weijang. On this side, we have a space for an Autobot insignia, and this is actually magnetic here, so you get a magnetic insignia which can go on, and as you can see here, this doesn't quite tab in. There's just so much heft to it. I don't think I've tabbed it in correctly on the underside there either. I mean, it still rolls, but it's starting to dip in the middle where the table's dipping. The wheels, of course, are rubber, like you would expect for something this size, and unfortunately we don't get a trailer with it. Can you imagine them sending a trailer as well? I'd have had to have had a shipping container as opposed to a box. Now, there are a few design differences due to its size and then wanting to make everything work accordingly. On the front here, we have the skirt section that comes down with the ladder. This now tabs into here, and the gas tanks do tab in nicely on here as well, keeping everything in line. I do love these wheels as well. You've got really nice hub details on the inside there. There are a few sprue marks scattered around the figure, but again, this is a test shot. It is not final. People have already said, look at the colour, the colour's horrible. It's not painted up, it's just a plain plastic. Everything else is painted up. If you've checked out the LEWIN posts that Dame Choc has been sharing, you'll see that there's pictures of the Prime with loads of paint applications and his lights all on as well. Something I would like to share with you. I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up on camera. I might have to zoom in. But we have reflective mirrors. They are actually highly reflective on the inside, which is something I really like. Now, there's not quite enough room in the front there to fit Spider-Man in, but we do have moving wipers as well. We can move those up and down, which is always a nice addition. Yeah, there's just not enough space in there to get Spider-Man in, but I don't know, maybe this is more designed at the 3 3/4 inch. When they arrive, I should have them arriving today. I'll take some shots as well, and I'll add them to the end of the video just for a comparison. But to stand alongside the truck, I think that the 6-inch scale really works. I mean, especially for dioramas or photo shoots or something. He really does look the part, doesn't he? Now, before my table snaps, let's get him compared to some of the other interpretations of Optimus Prime. As a standalone truck, the MP10 has always been a really good looking vehicle. It's just not until you bring in the other vehicles for the scale comparison you realise just how massive an achievement this thing is. They should really be proud of what they've accomplished. These versions of Optimus Prime on this table, it kind of looks like Prime's the Transformers version of Ant-Man, doesn't it? Now, as gorgeous as his alt mode is, I'm going to get him transformed up into his robot mode and see how that fares. First port of action, you want to be popping your wing mirrors inside, or side view mirrors, depending on where you are in the world, and we want to split this front housing piece. As you can see, Prime's head is stowed away in there nicely. You want to unplug these sections from the front fender. We can now freely move around this base piece. I'm going to go straight down to the legs because they are massive and should be relatively easy to transform. Feet do not slide with this version. With the official MP10, they slide together and join in. With this one, they do not. So let's just move those legs out like so. Let's stand him up and completely cover me off. Oh my goodness me, this gives you an idea of how big this thing is going to be. These tabs on the back here, just unpeg these, and you want to pull and separate these legs. We have a tab which goes in the top here. It's completely cosmetic, it's just to tidy up the trailer hitch section, but it does now allow us to split and extend those legs. We can then bring these side panels up and they're going to tab in on the top. Oh my gosh. This thing is massive. I forgot how big it is. I may have to adjust my camera shortly. But the legs have locked in nicely. So as you can see from the back section here, there aren't any wheel covers that come out and flip over. They decided to remove those, but we can bring this down. This now rotates and can be stored at the side of the leg if you choose to. That's how it comes packaged. Personally, I still like having it down over the wheels. The front panel pieces fold down. This now allows us to gain access to the arms. Make sure that these are untabbed from these new attachments at the side of those ladder pieces. And we can now bring these arms out. So again, make sure that it's detached from here. Bring the arm out. The ladder section can then come down. This piece drops, allowing for the fists to rotate, and then this closes back off, securing that into place, and then we can adjust the hands accordingly. Fold these bumper and lamp sections inwards, like so. This is then going to rotate around to the rear. The head can come up, like so, and if we move this front piece up, it's going to allow the bottom piece to drop. The wing panels come up and rotate around. Now again, there should be a tab on the rear here to tab this piece in. Again, mine is missing. There's actually two tabs missing, so I'm wondering whether that's a design change. They've changed the fact that they should tab in, whether it was getting damaged or not, but there's nothing in the box to suggest that anything's broken off. There's just nothing that's come with it. So either the previous reviewer has snapped them off, or it's a design change and they just decided not to go with those retaining tabs. We can drop the torso down. That's going to come in, and if I can just rotate this around so I can see what I'm doing, the torso can come down, and this just wants to lip over that piece of the torso. We can then close this chest piece off. There are now these tabs on the neck panel. Now mine do have stress marks on them. Again though, unfortunately, I think this is a downside of me not being the first guy to have access to this, which is a shame, but it does keep the chest in quite nicely. That's all going to tab in. We can then extend Prime's arms like so, and there we have Prime in all of his glory. That is a complete beast. Look at the size of this thing. It is insane. What an amazing piece to have on display. Now, it's not official, but I've heard that it's going to be around the $300 US price mark. If that is the case, then I will definitely be getting him. It's a lot of figure for the money. I mean, even in this slightly scuffed up state that this one's in, due to it being the sample, I'd still easily pay that. There's so much heft to this. I'd struggle more lifting this up than I would my youngest son. It's mind-boggling. What a complete beast of a Prime. I mean, are you likely to be able to play with it No, not at all. It's far too big to mess around with, and there's far too much heft to it. But it could be the centerpiece to any collection. I just wouldn't recommend trying to get it in a detail. It's just ridiculously heavy. We've got some fantastic details around the side here. The legs are a complete solid lump. We've got so much die cast in the toes. As you can see, there is some scuffage on my toes already, but again, that came like that. So I've got the die cast around the knees. The only thing I would have liked, I'd have preferred it if the thighs were white, but that's something that people can do themselves. There's so much there to them, they're not going to be an issue to paint at all. We have some nice details on the rear of Prime as well. We've got these pistons painted up on the back here. We've got the section for his gun. If we take a look at the side of Prime's arms, we have the fold down display systems here, so we could get a nice little sticker in there, and we could have Prime with his rotated arm just looking down and communicating with his fellow Autobots, although I imagine he'd probably just be able to shout to them and they would hear him at the moment. The articulation on Prime is pretty darn good as well. Obviously the head can look up on a ratchet, left and right. No tilting to the side though, unfortunately. And the arms are on a nice ratchet there. Goes all the way around. They come out to the side. We've got an upper bicep rotation, again on a nice ratchet. We've got a bend on the elbow, again on a really nice ratchet joint. The hands can rotate all the way around, and we have fully articulated fingers, so there's no fear of these fingers just popping off. They're made remarkably well. I mean, these are just ridiculously huge chunks of plastic, and the forearm does tend to keep coming untabbed. I'm not sure if that's a defect or not. We do have a waist rotation. We have ratchets to the front and to the back. We have ratchets to the side. There's an upper thigh rotation there. There's an upper knee rotation. We have those ratchets on the knee. And coming down to the feet, we have that ratcheted pivot. And we have forwards and backwards, again on a ratchet. So he's not going anywhere. Structurally, to look at, the posing on him is insane. He's incredibly well balanced. It's very refreshing indeed. Now the gun fits in Prime's hands nicely, and the actual handle on the gun is spring loaded, which really does help us when we're putting it in the hand, because we can bend it down and then it springs back into position. And I love just having those additional paint applications on there as well. They do make the world of difference. And we can get it in a nice heroic pose as well, just kind of standing there waiting to take on Megatron. To give you an idea of his scale, here it is alongside the Toys Alliance Megatron and the Weijiang Mega Supreme. As you can see, there's a fair bit of size difference there. Oh, it is insane. It's a gorgeous piece, so much heft to it. Yes, they have limited their audience somewhat by the size, but if you are an Optimus Prime fan and you can afford this piece, then I highly recommend it. I know we're getting an MP Optimus Prime version 3, but the MP10 is a gorgeous mold, hence the reason it's been KO'd over and over and over again, and I am genuinely blown away by this version. It's got the intricate details that we got with the Kuban Bao, tiny version of Optimus, blown up into a massive scale and done remarkably well. And again, just to put this scale into perspective, that is the MP10 Optimus Prime down by his feet, and Prime's also playing with himself there. He's got the MP10V in truck mode, and that almost looks like a kind of 1/12 scale truck in Prime's hand, doesn't it? I think that really does work. LEWIN, congratulations, you have made an outstanding piece. Now he has the 5-piece grates on his leg, much like we got with the Weijing and the Kube and Bao. We've got a really nice mix of chrome and that matte paint, the fists, the legs, everything just really pops on this guy. And this isn't even the final paint scheme as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do. Taking a closer look at that head sculpt, lovely crest on the top there. We've got those lights on the chest. I need to get a magnetic symbol for that arm though. Very, very nice piece. Everything just gleams on it. The yellow plastic as well. It's just a really good looking piece to have on display. But it's just finding that space. Now, what would a giant Optimus Prime be without some light up functions? As you can see, I've already removed the tab just from the back of the head here. It literally just pegs straight in there. Now, I asked them which batteries we would require. They told me to get the CR926s. Now, I cannot find CR926s for the life of me, so I managed to get some CR927s, and these are spring-loaded, so fingers crossed, we should be able to get batteries inside. As you can see, I put 3 of the batteries inside there. We can then bring the clip back in. That's just going to tab in on the back of the head, like so. And there's a small switch on the back here. We can tab that, and you can already see the light starting to shine through. And there we have Prime's very well lit eyes. They are piercing blue. No dead eyes with this Prime. Same goes for the back of the Matrix, although it's quite difficult to gain access to and mine. The wiring here just needs to be resoldered because it's come away from that connection point. Obviously, once we put that back in, the blue light is stunning. I'm going to put my Matrix in Prime's chest, like so. So that's lighting up nicely. As you can see, we actually have lights on either side of here as well. Again, 3 batteries. We can just close this off for now. I know it's wasting batteries, but press both of these lamps, and as you can see, specially designed for the truck mode. There we have these nice spot lamps on either side. There we go. Again, really nice and vibrant, and these are extremely easy to access. Again, we have a slot for 3 batteries on the gun, and we can just re-tab that piece in, and just pressing the button on the base, we have a very bright blaster as well. These smokestacks made up of separate pieces. They can just slide on and off, and we have the cap on there. So if you wanted to remove the shroud, you could just have the standard kind of MP10 style stacks on there, but personally I do prefer this style for the stacks. And although only really beneficial in this truck mode, we do have storage space here for 3 batteries in each toe, with a button just underneath, like so. So these will form the tail lights. So Prime can light our darkest hour. That was terrible, but you get the idea. Now the gun still fits in the backpack. This comes in. This will then come up and under, and that will actually lock this lower piece into position. We can then bring this down, and that's going to sit and tab over the edge like so, and then we can slide the gun in and then bring that up just like we would with the regular MP10. That just slots in there really nicely. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the massive almighty LEWIN Optimus Prime. Really do like the product. My test shot is slightly flawed, as I've previously mentioned. There's a few things that need to be rectified for the final release, but honestly I cannot wait. Very impressed with what they've done, and honestly the only real issue I can see with this is for people deciding how they're going to display it. Personally, I think I may keep it in truck mode, because that is an amazing truck, and as you saw, it definitely works with my Marvel Legends. Well, I think it does anyway. You need lots of batteries. We use 21 batteries in total, and that's the feet, the chest, the matrix, the head, and the guns. I picked mine up from Amazon. I think they were something like £10 for 20, and I already had the odd one laying around. I will include the Amazon link below as well for those of you purchasing in the UK. Once again, I'd like to thank TF Direct for making this review possible. For me, on a scale of 0 to Weijang MP10, this is definitely up there, being a 9 or a 10. Plastic quality is superb, great use of die cast. It's just those small tabs, we just need to make sure that they work and hold into place. And if that is the case, then this will be taking my top spot at the top of the KO tree. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, for myself and Optimus Prime, goodbye.